Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for another Rocket Matter webinar. My name is Nefra McDonald. I'm the Business Development and Strategic Partnership Coordinator here at Rocket Matter. Today we're going to be talking about how Rocket Matter's Atlas Gold Edition helps you run a more flexible firm. As we go through the webinar today and any questions come up for you, please put them in the questions widget of your GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll be sure to get to them either during the presentation or after. We're welcoming your questions. We want to make this as interactive as possible, so let us know if anything comes up for you. Today I have the pleasure of being joined by Ed Case, who is our UX and product manager at Rocket Matter, and he's behind a lot of what you guys actually see in the Rocket Matter application. He designs the user experience, gets all of the requirements together. He also leads up our annual ping pong tournament, our fantasy football team. He's the commissioner. So he's a great person to work with.
Very busy.
Very, very busy. And we're happy to have him here today. So thanks, Ed, for being with us.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's talk about what a flexible law firm is. So what makes a firm flexible? So there's been this trend this year, especially for big law firms, to start implementing flexible workplace programs. So flexible workplace is something that engenders that work-life balance, whether it's telecommuting, working remote as needed, or working outside of the 9-to-5 construct. So, for example, some big law firms that you might know, Morgan Lewis and Bacchius, they put together a formal remote working program for associates that will allow third-year and more senior associates to telecommute for up to 2 days each week. Just kind of, it's kind of nice. And then Jackson Lewis is going to allow associates and of counsel to work remotely on an as-needed basis so long as they're productive. So there's this trend for big law to go this way. Another firm that you may know really well is Baker Mackenzie. And so Baker Mackenzie rolled out a plan to offer telecommuting to all of their employees, regardless of whether they're an attorney, a paralegal, an office administrator, allowing them to take advantage of flexible working arrangements. So this is what their chief talent officer had to say. If a firm actually creates an environment that is flexible, that enables people to be at their best no matter where they happen to be, you're going to have much more engaged employees. To that end, if they're more engaged, they're going to be more productive. And then if they're more productive, that's going to have huge organizational implications. So think about this. Your life is not necessarily all about your work. Some of you have families, you have pets, you have a home that you need to take care of. You may need to travel unexpectedly. And to be able to continue to work from no matter where you are and to have that flexibility is a really nice thing for not only for you to have, but for you to offer your employees. So how do small firms implement a more flexible workplace? To be able to do that, you really have to think about the challenges of remote work. And when you're trying to compete with big law for top talent, this might be a good way to do that, offering a flexible workplace. So communication is one of those challenges that you really have to think about, right? When you're in the same office with people, there's the water cooler talk that might happen. If you need something, you just pop into an office and ask them a question. But when someone's remote, it's a lot different. Ed was just talking about, how sometimes when we work remote here and you want an answer from someone, it's really frustrating when you can't get an immediate answer the way that you would when you're in the office. So when communication breaks down, relationships can go south, projects can languish, and productivity does take a hit. So this is definitely amplified for remote workers. So one way that you can combat that is designating specific and accepted channels of communication within the office and with clients. So how do your workers communicate with other people in the office, and how do they communicate with clients? And then how are you going to track and document this? So those are things to think about in order to combat that communication challenge. The second thing you need to think about is process. If you don't have processes in place before you implement a more flexible workplace, you're going to lose control and quality. So document those detailed processes no matter how minute, and you're going to set yourself up for success with implementing something like this. And then managing expectations. So if your workers are going to be remote, they need to know what's expected of them. You don't want somebody that's going to go work from home and take naps. So you need to understand, and your employees also need to understand what's expected of them. That includes their workload, turnaround time on projects, and self-improvement goals. What are they going to be doing every single day that you need to see? Or what are you going to be doing at the end of the week to make sure that things are actually getting done? And that comes back to team building and professional growth. Those are easier things to do when everyone's in the same workspace. Becomes a challenge when you have remote workers, part-time workers, flex-time workers. So some ways that you can incorporate team building and professional growth with remote workers is daily stand-up meetings. And we do that here at Rocket Matter. I know Ed's team, they have morning meetings at what time?
9:15 every morning.
9:15, regardless of where any of the engineers or product team are, they get on is it a video chat?
Yep. So the people who are in the office will all gather in one location, and anyone who's remote will jump on a Google Hangout.
Awesome. See, so that's one way you can do it, so everyone can see each other and everyone talks about what they have going on that day. If anyone is in their way with anything, if they're waiting on something, if they need help from a manager or someone more senior, they can ask for that help during that meeting. So everyone can then go about their day and be productive. It's a good way for managers to know too exactly, where their team is when it comes to bigger projects. Retrospectives are really helpful. We do them here monthly and quarterly at Rocket Matter. We also have one big yearly to talk about, things that we did right, what we want to stop doing, what we want to start doing, what we should continue doing. Those meetings are very, very important in terms of moving your firm forward, moving your cases forward, and then thinking about other cases that you might want to get in the door that are actually working for you. And then what about those problem clients, the ones that you never want to deal with again? If you can start to identify those kinds of people or those kinds of cases, you can kind of steer away from them and do more of what your firm is good at. So retrospectives are very important for team building and professional growth. Also, association memberships and company-wide retreats are great ways to tackle both of those as well. So even though you may not have people who are in the office daily, there are definitely ways to keep employees engaged, connected to their coworkers, and more ready to serve your firm's clients. So a strong culture is key here, but so are the tools that you use to accomplish your goals from wherever your workforce happens to be. So with our latest deployment with Atlas Gold, we really kind of pushed some of these. The two really big ones we're going to be talking about today are communication and mobility, but the release as a whole really did a lot for people working from anywhere. So we'll be talking about our secure messaging tool, which is a great way to designate one central place for everyone to communicate within the firm. If you're wanting to designate that place, it's a great way to do that because they'll be in Rocket Matter doing their daily work anyway. Our redesigned mobile applications, Ed was a huge part of that, the leader of that initiative, and they're really, really beautiful, very robust, take great advantage of the devices themselves, so I'm sure you'll enjoy using them. Request, retainer, and e-check payments speak to the profitability pieces of it, being able to request a retainer from a client with a couple of clicks, and then also being able to accept e-check payments in addition to the credit cards we already offer. Great ways to keep things paperless, seamless, easy, quick, getting that money in the door. Law Toolbox integration also helps with productivity and calendaring so that that's not something your employees are spending a lot of time on anymore. And then recording messages with Ruby Receptionist integration allows you to listen to those messages directly from within Rocket Matter. So you don't necessarily need to be in front of a phone to be able to do that. So really awesome stuff. So Ed, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about the communicator benefits here.
Sure, yeah. So like we talked about, having accountability, having everyone on the same page. Communicator was developed as a way to facilitate that from within Rocket Matter. So at any point in time, you can reach out to another member of the firm. You can ask a question. You can request information. You can request documents, upload documents. And the way we've also integrated Communicator into the Matter dashboard itself, we have something that we'll look at a little bit later called the Matter Stream. And that's a way to keep everyone accountable and keep everyone on the same page when it comes to specific matters. So we think that Communicator is going to be a really powerful tool for keeping everyone in the loop. So if you are away from the office, it works on the mobile device as well. So as messages and communication and dialogue are happening, you're not out of the loop. You're getting a push notification if you don't have the app open. So you know at all times kind of what's going on a matter or what's going on a certain channel. That's another part of Communicator that we'll take a look at, the ability to create channels and have certain members of the firm, stakeholders, partners in one specific area discussing whatever items are necessary.
And one of the things that's been a trend in legal technology over the past 18 months has been artificial intelligence. And we've heard things about things that will passively track your time and being able to speak commands into the air and it generates a bill. We're not quite there yet, but this is going to be our introduction into artificial intelligence in your legal practice management software through the Rocket Matter bot. And so I will show you a little bit about that later. But somebody also asked, why wouldn't I just have my staff who's remote email me? That speaks to what Ed spoke about with needing an answer from someone and not getting it immediately. When you're using email for something like that, that can get lost in the shuffle of, in addition to spam and things from your clients, it can just get lost. With Communicator, you're going to get those push notifications, and it will be right on your Rocket Matter dash, so you won't be able to miss those messages, which is great.
And the other thing too is that email acts as a certain context. So if you are subscribed to a certain matter and a message comes in, you immediately kind of give it a context as far as what it pertains to. So it's a little more efficient in that regard.
Yeah. Alrighty. Mobile application benefits. So you can definitely talk about this. There was so much research done when we were building these.
Yeah. So what we wanted to do is empower our users when they're away from the office, when they're at home, when they're not sitting in front of a computer, to have everything at their fingertips whenever it's needed. So what we did is, you have all your matters, access to all your matters, all your billable activity is right there in front of you. You also have all your documents as well, and you can use the device to take pictures and upload documents. You can preview your documents right there on a mobile device. So at any moment in time, you can bring something up if you're in the courtroom. We even had users, talk to us when we were doing research saying, it'd be great to be able to bring a document up and show it to the judge right there in the courtroom. So we want to give you that ability. And that's, some of the power in the mobile device. The other thing are the push notifications. So if somebody assigns a task to you, right away. You don't even have to have the application open. You get a push notification. If you have an event that's coming up, you set notification reminders for that event. You don't have to be in front of the computer to get those. If you have your phone on you or your tablet in front of you, you're going to get a push notification, notifying you of that event. So we wanted to bring a lot of the power of Rocket Matter to the mobile device. We understand that people are inseparable from their phones and tablets in some regard. So that was a big part of the effort.
Yeah, and Communicator also ships standard with the mobile application as well. We also took advantage of the Touch ID, so the biometric scanning and PIN authentication, and then we also unified the experiences on iOS and Android devices. So it doesn't matter what you're using, the experience will be very similar.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Okay. All right, Ed. So I'm going to switch the presentation over to you here, so you can give us a little bit of an in-depth look at Rocket Matter. Bear with us, folks. We had a question come in about matter streams. Give me one sec. Ed, I don't know if you want to take this while I switch it over to you.
Sure.
He says, are we going to have a dashboard stream soon in addition to matter streams? So something on the dashboard.
On the user dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're definitely willing to explore that. Having a feed or a stream is something that we've been wanting to add into the application for quite some time. So the matter stream was our first kind of attempt at that. And we're definitely going to listen to user feedback and expand on that type of functionality.
Awesome. All right, thank you for that question. Okay, so let's explore Atlas Gold.
Okay, all right, great. So what we're going to show here in the demo portion, we're going to show Communicator and kind of show some of the benefits and how it works. And then we'll also jump into the iPad mini and show you some of the mobile application on the tablet. So if you notice down here in Rocket Matter, there's a little tab now that's been added called Communicator. So it's tucked away. It's always present, but it's tucked away. You can minimize that if you want to get it out of your way to open up more space. And once you open that up, you're going to see all the users that are in your install. And you can also filter that list and search it if you're looking for someone specific. Larger firms, depending on how many users you have in the system, it's still very easy to do so. You'll also notice right away when you open up Communicator, we have some helper shortcodes. So if you want to reference a matter, a client, or a user, you can do that by just typing M:/C:/ or U:/, and then it will give you an auto suggest tool to create a link for them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and message something to Keith. Let's see here. I'll just say hello. So what that's going to do is it's going to send a message over to Keith, and he's going to get that. Now, if Keith is at his computer, he'll get a little sound and a blip will come up. If he's on away and he has his mobile device, he's going to get a push notification. So one of the things that Nefra mentioned is artificial intelligence. So this is something that we're definitely exploring and starting to flesh out within Rocket Matter. So if I say something to Keith like, let's meet next Friday, Rocket Matter is going to parse that message and understand that you're speaking about a specific time to a specific person. So it's going to ask you if you want to schedule an event for that specific date. And if I click this, it's going to open up a calendar event for me. It's going to include that person who I'm talking to as an attendee, and it's also going to give me a video conference link as well. So the date and time that I referred to are right there, and I can very easily create an event. And where this becomes more powerful is if you have channels set up with specific groups of users. It's going to include all those users in that calendar event. So speaking of channels, well, one thing I'll talk about while we're here that people are really loving about Communicator is the ability to spawn a video conference link at any point in time. So if I click this little camera here, it's going to send a link that I can click and start a video conference with whoever I'm talking to. So that's pretty cool functionality at any point in time. Like we talked about being remote. Sometimes we do this quite often here. You want to get face-to-face with the person even though you're not in the office with them. So this provides a very easy way to accomplish that. We talk about channels. You can create channels very easily. So I can come in here and say, this is the partners channel. This is going to be something that's just set up whenever I want to discuss something with the firm partners. So I can go ahead and do that. I can come in here and I can add members to that. We'll just add myself and Craig to this channel.
Or Keith.
I'm sorry, Keith. Now, what's powerful about this is at any point in time, I can come into this channel and talk to all of these users very easily. So again, if anybody's a member of this channel, they're going to get a push notification or they're going to get an alert if they're within Rocket Matter, and you can create a dialogue and have a space where you can talk about things specific to these users. So the other thing I want to show, which is really cool, I think, about Communicator are the matter streams. So within the matter stream, as you come in, what that's going to do is it's going to keep a track record or a log on the matter of any activity that's happened. So this includes, if a time entry's been added, if an event's been added, or if a task has been added. Also, you can come in here and leave messages. Please follow up with a client. So I can come in here and I can talk. So we can have a dialogue and a discussion that is specific pertaining to this matter. And anyone who comes up here and clicks subscribe, they're going to be subscribed to this matter. So, you can be away from the office, you can be driving in the car, wherever you might be, and there's dialogue that's happening on a matter. That information is going to get relayed to you on your mobile device, or if you're in front of Rocket Matter, you're going to get an alert and communicator that something's happened on there. So I subscribe to that matter.
Where does it go when you subscribe?
So if I subscribe to the matter feed, what's going to happen is when I go to my channel list in here, you're going to see that matter now.
So the
I'm subscribed to it.
Awesome.
So as I come in here, I'll see all the same information I see on that feed. So you might be in a different matter doing some work and some activities happening on this specific matter. You can just pop into that channel and see what's going on. You can see the discussion, you can see the items that have been added. You can even click on them and see more detailed information.
So you can go in and edit that entry with that link.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So you can edit that entry.
So what kinds of activities get posted to the matter stream? What's included in that activity section?
So right now, when documents are added, when events are created, when billable time is added, and expenses or costs are added, those are included. Eventually, every single activity within Rocket Matter will be added to that stream.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I hope that answers your question there. And then will you be able to get a notification if you enter a message in a matter stream for someone specific? So if you, so if you tagged someone else in the matter stream.
Well, the tagging doesn't quite exist yet. That's something we're looking at. But if that person is subscribed to that channel, then they'll get the notification.
Okay, so they'd have to be subscribed to be able to get pinged when something happens.
At this point in time, yes.
Okay.
And it kind of makes sense because if you're not part of that channel and they ping you, you'll have to have access to it to see the message anyway.
Okay.
So, but we are looking at tagging and different ways to expand on it. We're really excited about Communicator, and so far initial feedback, our users have loved it so far. So we're really excited about it.
Awesome. Okay. So then tell us about the mobile application.
Okay, the mobile app. Let me just open this up. Okay. So the mobile application, like I mentioned, it has a much larger chunk of the application in it. So we did a lot of research before we built this to find out what people wanted access to, what they wanted to be able to do on the go. People want to be able to get into any matter at any point in time, see the documents, add time, see the activity. They want to be able to open up a contact and, call that contact or email them directly from the phone or the tablet. They didn't want to be able to run batch invoices, so some things aren't in there just because it's not something that people are going to want to do when they're away from the office. But it's pretty amazing what we're able to get in here in this first version, and very, very excited about it. So I don't know, is my screen shared here?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, all right, great. So as you see, I'm logged in here on the mobile device as Keith. So I'm gonna come in here and look. As you can see, I have two little notifications here. So if I click that, you'll see the notifications, and I can come in here and see here are the messages that I missed. So I can click in there and go right to Communicator. Again, that's going to happen if I have the application closed or open. I'm still going to get those notifications. So a quick overview of the mobile application. When you come into your user dashboard, it's going to give you a lot of what you have on your existing dashboard now within Rocket Matter. Some billing information. You can see the events that are on the calendar for you for that day. If you want to see other people's events too, you can always go to the filters and add their stuff as well. So that's really cool because that's a request we had. The existing applications that we had, you could only really see your own events. So you see what you have on your slate for that day, or you can jump around the calendar and go to some other days and see what's on deck there. You can view your tasks as well. So any task that you have assigned to you will show up. And this is obviously the user-specific view. You can also go to the global task grid and see all the tasks that are there. your matter listing. So you'll have access to your complete matter listing, which you can sort by client or matter or recent activity. You can then also filter that list down. So if I come in here and click Hobbs, I want to go to the Hobbs complaint. There it is. So that's going to load all your activity that you have. So this includes activity, not just billable activity, but anything that's been added to the matter. And you can then filter it out based on the activity type. So I just want to see the tasks, I just want to see the events, I just want to see the expenses that were added to this matter. I can do that, or I can see it all together as well. I can go to the matter calendar and see all the events that are specific to that matter, tasks as well, and we can also go to documents and see the documents associated with that matter. What's really cool about the documents is, like, if I come in here, I can preview the document right from the mobile device. So that's something that, like I said, people might want to be able to be in the courtroom and bring up a document, show the judge. And forgive me for this. I'm actually screencasting from an iPad to my computer, so I might have an issue there bringing up the document. Let me see if I can bring this one up. Yeah, it looks like I'm having a little bit of a lag there. But the other thing too is you can use the camera to take a picture, upload the picture. You can create folders in here. You can move documents around into folders. So all the power of our Rocket Matter documents are on the mobile device, which we're really excited about. I spent a lot of time making sure that that was an inclusion in the mobile device, the mobile application. So like I said, you can go to billing. Now you can't run your invoices from the mobile device at this point in time. That's something that, quite frankly, our users said it's not something that they really want to be able to do, but you can come over here if you have the right permissions and see an overview of your billing numbers. So that's really cool. And again, if I go to Communicator, I have the Rocket Matter Communicator here in the mobile device as well. So all the messages and activity and discussions that are happening, I can access right from the mobile device. So Sally's been sending me some messages. There's everything that we had been sending back and forth. I can come in here. Let's say sure. And there we go.
Excellent.
Excuse me. So again, that's kind of a quick, just sort of overview of the mobile application. If you're not a Rocket Matter user and you want to see more, we can definitely set up a demo and show you more in depth, answer any specific questions. If you are a Rocket Matter user and you haven't downloaded these yet, I suggest that you do it. They're really cool. They're really fun to play with.
Yep, you just search for Rocket Matter 5.0 in the App Store and it'll come right up.
Yeah, and one other cool thing that I want to show here as well is, we want to give you the ability to track your time. So at any point in time, you can spawn a new timer, and that will stay persistent as you go throughout different places in the app. So if I go, for instance, to the contact grid, that timer is going to keep running and stay persistent. We can also take a look at a contact here. This one doesn't have any. Let's go look at Bert. So if you're on the phone and you click any of these numbers, it'll spawn a phone call, or if you click the envelope, it'll spawn an email. And this timer here, I can then just do a little swipe, and I can choose to save that timer or discard that timer. So that's pretty powerful. You can keep a timer running as you're working in the application and bill for that time.
Okay, someone's asking here, if I have the new app on the iPad or tablet, can I meet with a client with the iPad and use a stylus to do the intake consult? I'm trying to figure out if we can handwrite the notes and if it will be turned into text.
There's no native functionality within our application that does that, but there may be some third-party apps that will do that. That's something I'll have to look into.
Yep, and remember, this is the first version of the application, so any feedback that you have for us on things that you might want to see, make sure that you let us know, either to support or to your customer success rep. Okay. And then someone says, I may have missed it, but are you saying that in order to put notes or entries in on a case, you have to create channels in Communicator and then create different subjects and add whatever notes or updates you want in? No, not necessarily. It's not that. It's not as complicated as that.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a quick flip back to
Sure.
the web-based application so we can show you? So there are a couple different things that are happening that may be kind of confusing. So the matter stream will have a place for you to type in natural language notes. And so you can just start typing to send a message, and that will go into that matter stream. So that will belong to anything having to do with Hobbs complaint. Now, if you're a subscriber to Hobbs complaint, you will also see that in your communicator, what do we call this? A widget?
Yeah,
box?
widget.
Okay, communicator widget.
Yep.
So if you click on Hobbs complaint in your channel section, you'll see anything that someone put into the matter stream. Like that, please follow up with client, that is going to be in your matter stream. Now, if you wanted to create a channel on a specific topic that wasn't necessarily associated with that matter, or was maybe something you wanted to keep off of that matter record, like if you wanted to coordinate all of your mediations in one place, you could add a new channel for just mediations. Or if you wanted to plan the company picnic, you could add a picnic channel. So that's the purpose of the channels, is to create specific areas for certain conversations. Like here at Rocket Matter, we've got a channel for all random things. So people put stuff in, like somebody did a terrible parking job today at our office, so they threw a picture of that in there. So that kind of keeps that water cooler feel going, right? So that's kind of the difference. I hope that helps answer that question for you. And if it doesn't, please let us know. Let's see. What about landscape view on iOS?
So right now we're restricting everything to the portrait view. That's the way the application was designed. So you can't go to landscape mode. It's locked. So yeah, no landscape mode at this particular moment. But you know, if it's something we hear a lot of, we might look into it.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys. So if you guys have any specific questions about what we showed today, definitely let us know. We've got a couple more minutes here. I'm going to switch back over from Ed's view, back over to me, if I can do that. Alrighty. Keep those questions coming in. Okay, we've got another one in here. How can I quick bill from the mobile app? So that was one thing that we did not include in the mobile application.
Yeah, you can actually run your batch billing from the mobile app.
You can get everything ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's something that, you know, again, it's the first version. If we're getting overwhelming feedback that people want to be able to run bills from the mobile application, it's something that we may consider. Okay, so we're getting a question. How does the matter stream appear? It will come up in the when you're on the matter dashboard. It will be in the center panel.
And it's at the very top. It might appear by default collapsed because you can collapse it if you find that it's something you're not using. You can collapse it to minimize the real estate that it occupies, but you can also expand it out if you don't see it.
Okay, and then is there a way to tag someone so they get a notification in a matter stream if they're not subscribed?
No, not currently, but again, that's something we're looking into on how to leverage tagging other users. So yeah, if you have any feedback or specific requests in that regard, we'd be happy to listen.
Okay, it says quick bill, meaning not into a case, just catch a bill from dashboard.
If you mean just like add some billable time quickly, yeah, you can definitely do that. There's a little persistent menu at the bottom, and you can add time very easily from there.
Yep, you can add time, expenses, all of that good stuff from the add and edit, actually, from the mobile application. Okay. Let's see. how do you do an intake on Rocket Matter? So a lot of our users will use our Matter templates to create all of the custom fields that you might need for a specific Matter type to be able to quickly put an intake in. We also have the ability for you to set up web forms and then get that information into Rocket Matter. Okay. Let's see. Is there a way to tag more than one Matter in a calendar event? Not currently, right? It's just one event per Matter.
Yeah, because otherwise then when you went to bill for that particular event, you'd be billing for it twice.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're running out of time here. Thank you so much for joining us today. If there are questions that you have that did not get answered, feel free to give us a call or email. If you're not a current Rocket Matter user, you can set up a free trial today, no credit card required, by calling this number, 866-710-1845. Our account executives will take very good care of you. And if you have any specific questions for us, feel free to email nefer@rocketmatter.com, ed@rocketmatter.com. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope that this was helpful in showing you how Atlas Gold can help you run a more flexible law firm. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.